Welcome to A Mind for Life. We are here today with the cosmology of being, and we're going to go into outer forces today, all right? Outer forces. Let me say this about A Mind for Life. A Mind for Life is here giving you spiritual, philosophical technology so that you can live the life you were designed to live, so that you can create what you were designed to create, so you can be what you were created to be. A Mind for Life is not a channel about personal inspiration or personal motivation or winning or conquering. This is not what this channel is about, nor is this channel about philosophy. Philosophy is a part of this, but it's not exclusive. We have spirit as well, and that changes the whole dynamic. So this is a revelation to you. This is something that you think, quote unquote, with your heart with, okay? That's A Mind for Life. Let's get into outer forces. All right, so I talked about we're going to get here in the last video. Now, let's take a scenario. Outer forces. Say you're in a room full of people and you are sitting down and they call you up. They call you up to sing. They call you up to do some sort of presentation. Maybe you didn't expect this. And all of a sudden, when they call you up, you get nervous. Your knees shake. Your palms get sweaty. Your voice shakes. What's this about? You didn't sit there and say, I'm going to make my palms get sweaty. You didn't sit there and say, I'm going to make my knees shake. You might have sat there and said, if they call me, I'm going to be confident. I got this. But when they called you up, this is what happened. Now, we've talked about this in the previous video a little bit, in previous videos, recent. But take another scenario. Same situation. They call you up and you might be feeling, man, if they call me up, I don't know. But when they call you up, all that goes away and you just feel real confident. You feel real confident about this presentation, whatever it may be. Your voice is strong, it's solid. Your knees are strong. You're breathing. You'll have awareness in the room. Wow. What does this point to in this context? Outer forces. Outer forces are thought forms that we encounter by living life. Outer forces are thought forms that we encounter by living in the world. Outer forces come into our universe without our awareness, our conscious awareness of them. Outer forces come pre-packaged. In other words, they're like a bundle of being for you, meaning this. Outer forces have already custom and belief embedded in them. They are of custom and belief. They've already been reasoned out. It's not a revelation. A revelation, as we said before, is a block of pure knowingness that we apply our reason to get some effect in the outer world. But we're talking about outer forces are thought forms that already are part of the outer world that we pick up. We pick these up and we don't know it. We know it when we have an emotion about it, as we said before. But by the time this happens, these outer forces have already been part of our universe, you see. And I want you to go back and watch the I Am Self video and the Conditioned Body video, because they're going to give you some insight on how this happens as far as coming in. The thought forms, these outer forces, become part of your awareness in the conditioned body. They're carried into your conditioned body through the inspired self. The inspired self is your life force or your light drive. It's also the medium by which thought forms are carried into your awareness, into your beingness, into your conscious beingness. And the thought forms are not just from outer forces. Remember, the I Am Self, there's also this movement as well. And these are from your higher self and God. These are divine soul. These outer forces are not necessarily bad, though. Sometimes they're survival based. And see, we pick these up a lot of times when we grow up. We see our parents believing and living a certain way, and we pick up those thought forms and they become a part of our universe. But we didn't decide this. We didn't sit down and say, okay, I'm going to pick that one and I'm going to change it and make it this and that. We weren't the craftspeople of this, you see? It just came in. And now we live this life that reflects that. So we may be living the way our parents live or our friends live or what we saw on TV, but we may or may not even want to live that way. But these thought forms, these outer forces, have a life of their own. Like I said, it's a beingness for you. It's a beingness for you. And there's another aspect to this that we should be aware of. These thought forms, there have been movements to manipulate this. In other words, call it subliminal programming. Flash something on the screen real fast so you really can't see it, but you kind of see it. It's beyond the threshold of your conscious awareness. And it becomes a part of who you are, so you start acting a certain way. Maybe you go buy the popcorn. Or some say neuro-linguistic programming, where words and language are used in a certain way to get you to do something, to make a purchase or to do something. All right? These are using thought forms in a way, they're putting them in your universe before you are consciously aware of them, and then they latch on to your drive, your motivation, your inspiration, and you start acting these things out. And you may not even know why you like this. You may not even know why you just got to have that. You see? But you feel it. Now, we are learning to, when we feel that it points to knowledge, belief, and perspective. And these thought forms come bundled with this. They come bundled with knowledge, belief, and perspective. Custom and belief are already a part of what they are. Okay? So, let me recap. Thought forms or outer forces are thought forms that we pick up from the world, from living life in the world. They come into our universe before we are at that level of awareness, pre-awareness level, plastic mind level, internal data memory storage level. Go back and watch the plastic mind video. They latch on to they connect with our inspiration, our inspired selves, our motivation, our life force, and we begin to act those out with our physical bodies, our minds, our physical. We can become aware of these now because they are at a certain level of our universe. So we see that. This picture, these outer forces were way out there. And just picture yourself as a universe, right? And you can see certain planets. You're at the center. But these outer forces were way out there. Now as they're coming close, you become aware. This is what happens when they get into the conditioned body, when they come to this level. And our emotions show us what we believe and what our perspectives are. And behind that being shy or confident feeling that you had was a belief system. Oh, yes, it was. It was a belief system. It was a perspective, okay, that was practiced a long time before you were aware of it in that moment. That's important. So you could be in that situation and be telling yourself, if they call you, you're going to be confident. But when you actually get called, your knees shake, your voice shakes, your palms get sweaty. You're nervous. You can't get the words out because the thoughts you have practiced according to that thought form have been a while. You've been practicing those. You've been listening to it, hearing it. You've been gravitating towards things that sort of match up with that bundle of being or that outer force, that thought form. Okay. Now, I don't want you to think that you know where this is going and this is it. This is not it. This is going to take a turn. Okay. This is going to take a turn. Remember, we're offering philosophical spiritual technology. So we're not just going to tell you what it is. And this is going to take a turn. This whole idea of outer forces. Okay. So rewind this video, as I always say, go back through it, some details in there, and we're going to get to the next videos where we go deeper, and we're going to go in some different directions with this, okay? So thank you for coming to A Mind for Life. Peace out.